Malaysia kini datang lagi. Pelbagai aktiviti menarik disediakan secara percuma. Jom sertai Minggu PKS Kebangsaan 2021 secara maya dari 26 Jun hingga 4 Julai ini. Info lanjut sila layari link tertera. Acara tahunan anjuran SME Corp Malaysia kini datang lagi. Pelbagai aktiviti menarik disediakan secara percuma. Jom sertai Minggu PKS Kebangsaan 2021 secara maya dari 26 Jun hingga 4 Julai ini. Info lanjut sila layari link tertera.
Hello everyone! Minggu PKS Peringkat Negeri Sarawak 2021 kini datang lagi. Anjuran bersama Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak, Kementerian Pembangunan Usahawan dan Koperasi dan SME Corp Malaysia dengan kerjasama serba dinamik. Ada pelbagai aktiviti yang akan diadakan seperti e-pameran yang akan menyajikan pelbagai produk PKS dari seluruh Malaysia dan sesi webinar yang akan membuka mata kita tentang ilmu keusahawanan. Dan kesemua program tu adalah percuma. Jadi apa tunggu lagi? Jomlah join Minggu PKS Peringkat Negeri Sarawak 2021 secara online dari 29 Jun sampai 4 Julai tu. Untuk info lebih lanjut, boleh layari link yang tertera.
gentlemen, and welcome to our live webinar for today. A very good morning, and I would just like to start off with an introduction of me. I'm Cheryl, and I will be your moderator for today. Now, undoubtedly, the pandemic has changed a lot of the landscape, and it has impacted most of us, especially mentally and also economically. Now, however, we owe it to the pandemic for opening up our borders and testing our resilience. And thanks to COVID-19, it has shown us how long and how strong one can be, but also how tested the challenges can be for not only individually, but also the nation as a whole. Now, I am Cheryl Toh, and I'll be your moderator for today. And before we start, I would like to introduce our guests. Now, our first industrial expert here for today, Mr. Moslem Anoar from Syarikat AAZ Pinnacle, on his topic, experience and sustainability in business. Secondly, will be our youth representative, Mr. Abdul bin Aladin from Startup Borneo, and on his topic, effective and way forward digitalization in Sarawak. Thirdly is our educator, Mr. Muhammad Syukran bin Jamil, lecturer from University Kuala Lumpur, Uni KL, on his topic, trend and opportunities, digitalization in business. And also with our collaborating partners, the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, Industrial Terminal and Entrepreneur Development Sarawak, Mintrade, Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives, MEDAC, is SME Corporation Malaysia, and Sertai Dynamic Sendirian Berhad. Now, before we begin, let us bid a very good morning to our guests and audience for today from our panelists.
Morning.
All right. Okay, so for our first session here today, I would like to pass on to Mr. Moslem Anoar, Encik Moslem Anoar from Syarikat AAZ Pinnacle on his sharing session for today. So, Mr. Moslem, you ready?
Right. Okay.
All right. Okay. Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
So, how do you want for me to conduct this? English ke bahasa Sarawak ke apa?
Which I'm very comfortable with.
All right.
Both
Okay.
also can. Will be good also in bahasa Sarawak.
All right. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So, thank you very much for inviting me. On this program, right? Now, my responsibility is to share my experience. I'm an old person lah, tua lah sebenarnya, okay? Tapi nampak si tua lah nak, okay? Because I will share with you my experience on internet business. When I came back from US a long time ago, okay? Malaysia belum start internet, but di US, kita dah mula dah internet dah. Student dah ada email dan sebagainya, right? So when I came back in 1995, internet belum in thing, right? So that means the gap between Malaysia and US agak jauh. However, today there's no gap, okay? Whatever happened di seluruh dunia kita dah tahu. So in 2006, okay, I started my first boleh kata e-commerce business lah, you know, with all technology, Flintstone pun technology. So, apabila dipikir balik nak, how did we manage to do that? Okay, so this is the thing that I would like to share with you guys here. So, there's the fundamental of running your online business, since we're talking about digital economy, digital marketing and so forth, right? The basic fundamental of business is the same, regardless of where you are, regardless of your platform, they are the same. Okay, so there are two main important points that you have to remember. Number one, whatever tools that we have right now, okay, internet, okay, 4G, 3G, IR 4.0. Now the in thing is IR 5.0. Okay, bukan 4.0 lagi, 5.0 dah. Okay, whereby the technology is try to communicate emotionally. That is IR 5.0, right? So whatever we have right now, kalau ada 6.0 dan sebagainya, again, these are all medium for us to capitalize on. But if the fundamental of business is not there, you cannot capitalize on this medium. So what are the fundamental of business? There are two things. Okay, number one, you have to have the product. Okay, what is your product, right? And this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, based on my experience, do not know what is their product. Okay, for example, if I ask them, what is your product? They will say, oh, saya jual baju, saya jual telefon dan sebagainya. That is not your product. That is your physical product. But more importantly is you have to know what is your real product. Okay, if you fail to identify your real product, then you cannot capitalize on whatever marketing strategies or platform that are available out there. Let me give you an example here. If you heard of this company by the name of Zappos, 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 right? Bukan yang lighter ya, okay? Lighter lain, okay? Zappos, the late Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, okay? When he was asked about the business, what is your business? Okay, you know what's the answer? Okay, Zappos is just like Zalada, Shopee, Zalora dan sebagainya lah, okay? Online business. Basically, they are selling footwear dan sebagainya. But when Tony Hsieh was asked about what is your business, okay, you know what's the answer? The answer is we are in happiness business. That is the real business, right? The same thing with McDonald's. What is McDonald's product? Mungkin orang pada apa dia, burger, fries dan sebagainya. No, McDonald's is in property business. What's my point, right? If you know your real product, then you can come up with the right strategy. Right? So this is the first key. Okay, that means you have to know your real product. For example, Zeppo, they said that their business is happiness. Okay, so whatever strategy that they come up with, it all boils down to how can we make our customers or stakeholders happy. So that is why Zeppo's 65 to 75% of their customers are repeat customers because they know how to come up with strategy, business strategy, because they have identified their real business, not their physical business or physical product. The same thing with Starbucks. What is Starbucks business? It's not coffee, right? It's Starbucks experience, right? So that's why once they have identified the real product, then you're good to go. If you fail to identify, it's very difficult for you to come up with strategy. It's very difficult for you to use whatever technology that we have right now, because the technology that we have right now, these are just tools, okay? Hanyalah benda yang diguna pakai oleh kita. That's it. Okay, that's number one. Number two is about human psychology. Okay, human psychology. You have to remember this. Okay. Now, this is what I see based on our experience. Okay, 2006 we managed to come up with not to say e-commerce but internet business whereby we sell things online, right? We managed to make six-figure income is because of psychology. What is the psychology behind, consider that as a success, right? The psychology behind that success is this: we are willing to share our profit. Okay, so that's number two. So how did we do this, right? It's easy, right? We nowadays people call it as dropship, affiliate marketing, and so forth, right? So that means if you are willing to share your pie dengan orang lain, right? To the extent, if you look at internet marketers right now, for example, Aman Morin, Ibn Pagan, right? They are willing to share up to 100% of their product because they know this is not what they are acting. Okay, this is not what they look for. Okay, for example, let's say I launch a product, I give 100% share to whoever managed to sell my product. That means if I sell it for 10 ringgit, so you will get 10 ringgit. I'll get nothing. However, I will get the database because there will be another, they call it upselling lah. Okay, if I sell this for 10, then I get the database, then I will nurture this group of these potential customers of mine. Okay, and then this is where upselling comes in. So that is why if you look at history of internet marketer, one of them is Aman Morin. He managed to make 400 million sales, 400 millions. Okay, and the best example is Ibn Pagan. Ibn Pagan, he has only 7 staff lah, 7 orang pekerja. Semua bekerja dari rumah. You know what they are selling? They are selling dalam bahasa Sarawak e-book cemni nak ngacu perempuan. Ya, cemni nak nikah perempuan. Nama website ya Double Your Dating. That's why amazing, you know. Di US cemni nak nikah perempuan pun perlu belajar. Right? So, you know, the turnover, the sale of that Double Your Dating website is 20 million per year, US dollars. 7 staff working from home. The same principle. Okay, what is the principle used by Ibn Pagan? Move the free line. human psychology. That means there must be something in it for the customers, right? So that means you nurture the relationship. So the same thing with us. Okay, we say if you willing to help us with this, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you a lot of. That means during the negotiation or the presentation, as if that they are winning at the end of the bargain, right? So if you manage to do this human psychology, and we know the real product of our business, I think that is where we should start. Okay, and whatever tools and yang Abdul, Qaiyum dan Syukran akan cakap sebentar lagi hanyalah medium sahaja. Okay, so the foundation of the basic of the business is still the same. You have to know your product, you have to know human psychology. Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Encik Muslim, that in business, the physical product is merely just a physical product. But what comes in real life situation is that it has to be something that has a great added value. Now, can you also mention something on the IR 5.0? Now, that is a very interesting approach, because I think most of us here, even I myself, am starting to get into the needs of IR 5.0. Maybe you can explain a little bit on IR 5.0. As we know, from our understanding, IR 5.0 is where we give a personalized manufacturing process to our consumers. Maybe you can share how in these challenging times, where there is a need for us to challenge 4.0 versus 5.0, like you related to the interesting dating app that you mentioned. How can we dive into this market in the landscape of Sarawak? Maybe you can share us some tips, or maybe from your success stories previously.
Okay, if you look at IR 4.0, the whole idea is to capitalize on whatever technology, for example, IoT, big data, data mining, and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Okay, to minimize the error, okay, in any production, minimize an error, and to increase the productivity. Basically, we are connecting the human mechanism, work ethics, or work practice, and automation, and so forth, right? But in IR 5.0, they are trying to go deeper. That means the machine learning is more on studying the emotion of human being and try to impart ataupun masukkan this element dalam machine, right? For example, Elon Musk ada live tadi dekat web Sertai Anangau, right? Yang kelakar pasal neuralink, right? Web banyak put chip implant dalam babi, ya, dalam, I think ada yang punya, ya. So they try to understand how does this thing works, right? Okay. So basically, if you again, like Ibn Pagan, he is playing with emotion, right? If you can control the emotion of the customers, you can control the sales, right? So the IR 5.0, the basic premise is to understand how can we develop macam apa nama perempuan robot itu nak timbak di Sarawak itu? Sophia. Okay. Right, Sophia. Supaya Sophia ya macam ada emotion. Right?
Yes.
So that's the whole. So if Sophia ada emotion, jadi siapa yang ada partner bolehlah anytime ada partner. Okay, just Mbak Sophia pulang rumah dah habis cerita. So basically you try to understand the emotion behind it. Okay, the same thing with AI lah. So that means AI in advanced way, artificial intelligence in advanced way. So if you look at the case study of Alibaba, 1111, right? Asal 1111 mesti meletup. How do you think that Alibaba managed to handle customer service berjuta-juta within 24 hours? The sale is about 30 billion, right? Dalam masa 24 jam. So basically Alibaba, they have their own AI yang bekerja, whereby, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, 40% of the customer service, okay, handled by AI, right? Ni you dapat handle berjuta-juta, right? But they have an AI. So that's why, again, I think this is something that we need to, for those yang mau start e-commerce, need to consider juga. To start an e-commerce senang nak mati leput kata orang Sarawak, okay? You can. I can show you in 10 minutes, you can have e-commerce website ready, full-fledged e-commerce. Because terlalu mudah. I've done this for more than 100 entrepreneurs. But
Correct.
why most e-commerce fail? Because they don't have the back end of e-commerce. What is the back end of e-commerce? You have to do your groundwork. You have to do your marketing. You have to have all the technology behind it. Just like Alibaba, nampak senang. Senang lah mula website macam Alibaba. No, the mechanics behind Alibaba pun ekosistem, kata orang Sarawak, pecah palak you mikir. For example, let's say I'm a vendor for Alibaba, right? And then I try to buy goods from luar ataupun from supplier lah, you know. But I don't have sufficient amount of cash. Alibaba can identify, oh, this fellow si ada cukup duit tu. So they will mark basically data mining, ambil semua data, then they will channel to another, they call it maybe SBU of Alibaba yang handle on financing, on micro lah. Huge financing. Because they have collected all this data. So that means once the foundation di belakang tabir ya function properly, barulah e-commerce ya dapat berfungsi dengan betul. If the back office working is not going to work. Okay, so the surface mudah, but the mechanics behind it is very complicated. They have a very complicated ecosystem. So that is why investment of e-commerce website, so e-commerce business besar. Mun sekarang mula website sampai 300 pun dapat you manage e-commerce website setahun.
Benar kata-katanya Encik Muslim. Tapi just a brief question also before we move on to the next topic about e-commerce. Ada dalam kalangan pemuda, especially I think most of them maybe cannot differentiate between the channeling and the ecosystem of e-commerce versus social media, because most of us we know that social media is also an important platform and medium. But maybe you can give your take on how do we make this a distinctive difference in order for us to boost digitalization, the real digitalization into the content of our products.
All right, thanks, Cheryl. It's just like marketing and selling lah. Okay, if you are a business student, sometimes they get confused. What is, I think Syukran being an entrepreneur lecturer, another student confused. What is marketing? What is promotion? What is selling? Okay. So marketing is the whole thing, and selling, promotion, blah, blah, blah is part of it. So the same thing with your question. E-commerce is the whole ecosystem, e-commerce, right? Social media is just part of it, okay? Social media is just a platform for you to market your product, okay? However, because of the current technology, for example, gig economy and so forth, right? Sometimes you don't need e-commerce. You don't need, you just become influencer aja. Right? Pergi TikTok tanda-tanda udah cukup, okay? but it's more difficult than the last sebenarnya, right? Okay. But so for our there's one study showing that even though generation Y kah, okay, ataupun after that kah, they are tech savvy, but the tech savviness is only on social media. Okay, whereby daknya tu membawang terror lah. Sebenarnya that's why negara luar pun takut dengan Malaysia tu when it come to membawang, right? But when it come to e-commerce, this is different ball game. Okay, it's different ball game. So the basic definition is social media is marketing tool, right? E-commerce is the whole business ecosystem. Okay, nya semua ada di sini. Nya ada marketing juga, nya ada operation juga, nya ada back end juga, nya ada automation juga and so forth. But social media is just ataupun dalam arti kata lain, if you are one man show, I think itu pun banyak one man show, go for social media. No need go to e-commerce. Okay, e-commerce you have to have a really solid platform, and you should have financial assistance as well lah, because just like I said, the mechanics behind e-commerce is a complicated thing. Okay, it's a complicated thing. Tapi social media is easy. However, for a one-man show, social media is good enough. Okay, social media is good enough.
Thank you very much, Encik Muslim, for clarifying. I think most of us believe that social media is good enough, but actually, when you dive deeper, e-commerce is actually the ecosystem of it. And I think it's very important for most of us here to understand the difference between using social media as a tool and ecosystem as a whole. Now, Encik Muslim here actually has a very interesting success story behind. He has trained more than many years of experience, and I'm also pretty sure that some of us here have heard of his 250,000 success story. Now, before we move on and also dive into deeper on that, thank you very much, Encik Muslim, for sharing your views. Now, we'd just like to move on to the second session, which is sharing by youth representative here today, Encik Abdul Qaiyum. Now, Encik, Mr. Qaiyum here is actually the founder of Startup Borneo, Sarawak. And we'd just like to start off our session. Maybe you can share with us, Encik Qaiyum, on your bits and parts of your youthpreneur's success story, and maybe let us know on the module in relation to what Encik Muslim has just mentioned. IR 5.0 is a very developing industry, so maybe you can give your take on your session as well.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank all organizers, Mintrade, Sarawak, and SME Corp, Midec, and Super Dynamic for having me and for having all the panelists today. Yeah, a very good I could say keynote addressed by Encik Muslim just now, talking about how to leverage digital platform or digital technology, and at the same time making use of digital platform or digital technology is simple, but accordingly as you grow, not as easy as many maybe assume. So there are quite a number of initiatives and programs that we have organized the past few years. And IR 4.0 definitely is something that we cannot avoid, meaning this is real. And during this pandemic, COVID-19, this IR 4.0, I believe, is a critical element in making sure continuity and sustainability of businesses like food and beverages and product and services. So very straightforward and very simple understanding that we can relate to this at the moment, even because of this pandemic. A lot of businesses are not doing well, but selling online have give some hopes for some businesses to continue their daily activities. Yeah. So during the past few years, we were putting our effort in identifying and partnering up with numbers of agencies and corporates like Serba Dynamic, and things now have been showing quite well. We have seen some outcome. For example, we have identified Timoga as a marketplace, as a youth entrepreneur and a potential youth entrepreneur, and as a digital marketplace for hawkers yang jual sayur and jual local products from Sarawak. Although Timoga is, I would say, is at an early stage of startup stage, but the impact to local businesses, especially during this pandemic, has shown very significant contribution, giving opportunity for people to continue running businesses and selling their products online. So not only that, Grab, Foodpanda, QuickPay, QR Pay from their bank, cashless transaction, online transaction, easy Wi-Fi, all these in a way have cushioned some of our trade and commerce activities because of movement restriction. So basically, what we can see, because of IR 4.0 or Industrial Revolution 4.0 and internet connectivity, we are now moving to what so-called the hyper-connected world. So this is, in a way, it's opportunity for the young, especially when many of the young or youth, pretty much, they are now accessible with smart devices or smartphone. And of course, with smartphone and device like smartphone and internet connectivity, yes, this is pretty much affordable. But however, again, as moving forward, I mean, in terms of running business, it sounds easy, but at the same time, there is a lot of as well preparation, readiness, and tools required for youth entrepreneurs or the young to participate in digital economy. But however, a sign of success is there, as what have been shared by Encik Muslim just now, Mr. Muslim. He himself have that experience where even during masa dial up, they can generate a quarter million of sales online. Even try to think now with mobile internet and smart devices, smartphone, this should open up more opportunity. However, yes, participation, inclusivity, meaning proactiveness from the youth and the young entrepreneurs should be as well as eager or as active as it's supposed to. So meaning, yes, there are a lot of programs and initiatives like from us, StartupBorneo, in Sarawak, in Kota Semalahan. However, effort and participation more from the youth, especially, is very crucial in order to ensure the future for our country and Sarawak in this IR program zero transformation.
Yeah, I believe in that too, Encik Qaiyum. On that, we need the participation of youth for us to, in order, especially during these trying times when we're in a crisis, we're in a national crisis, actually global crisis, that we have to actually drive ourselves to be resilient. Now, however, in Sarawak, statistically, out of the probably 2.5 million population, maybe 50 to 60% are youth, being 1.7 of them. Based on your success story from Timoga, being a youthpreneur that is emerging into making even their way into the landscape of Sarawak, could be bringing the name globally. Is it how are youth going to be inclusive in this? Do they have to be in a cutting edge tech, or maybe they have a traditional modules instead? Maybe you can share with us, the viewers too.
Yeah, very good point, Cheryl. So, as what we understood from the earlier points from Encik Muslim, let's say, for example, even back during the dial-up era, not yet the 3G or 4Gs, and now coming up with 5Gs, online business has already started. Meaning, can imagine now with more hyper-connected world, the youth and the coming up entrepreneurs should leverage and should take advantage of this. Meaning, doing business online, yes, it should not be as hard as what's supposed to be how we used to do business back then. And with technology like 5Gs and more internet connectivity going into from city to the rural or suburban area, they should give more advantage to a lot more youth, not only youth in the city, but also youth in the rural area. So with for example, some success story like Timoga, not as complicated business or products like maybe, for example, there are a lot other different kind of product and services you can do online. Does not mean that you have to run your own e-commerce platform, but you can provide services. Yeah, I believe Syukran is one some good example that I know that have been doing this. Meaning, not only you must sell or soft sell or provide complicated product or services, but as simple as doing repairing works and providing design work, creative work online through Fiverr and different platforms. That should be easy for many youth to use and to take advantage. Meaning in Sarawak, in terms of product and services, there are a lot very unique and attractive offering that actually we can provide across across Sarawak and as well as internationally. However, to start this, our youth have to participate, meaning have to take up all enough to start. As simple as, for example, starting an social media and like what mentioned by Encik Muslim, social media, selling through social media, but at the same time, moving forward, looking into more advanced machine learning, AI usage or opportunity.
Alright.
But
Yeah.
however, they have to start. I mean, the youth have to start.
Right. I take that point, Encik Qaiyum, that youth have to start somewhere, as I think knowledge may not be a problem, but probably a bit of persuasion and also the attitude in putting themselves into business. Now, assuming that as a founder of Startup Borneo, startups are definitely a very difficult element to grow. You know, startups are just like they might be in the form of economy media, like our toddlers. And also, it's quite interesting to know that in the landscape of Sarawak, when you mention about Timoga, it is about moving, when you're moving forward into actually bringing the traditional way of purchasing and buying and delivering, you know, home-based products like agricultural products, you know, but they are mainly a middleman. And also, I think during these pandemic times, they are the ones, the platform that is most needed by consumers during these trying times. But however, there's another thing that, another element that is very interesting. Statistically shows that in Sarawak, only 12% of the youth participates in the agricultural sector, while youpreneurs are the ones bringing, you know, delivering to consumers. Maybe what we need are the crops instead. So maybe you can share, give us your take on is it a problem for the minority of youth to participate in the agricultural sector, as we know that production needs to also come on other than distribution?
I see. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much I would say for Sarawak is very fortunate and very blessed with a lot of initiatives from corporate sector and government in a way trying to put in effort to help some of this business activity through transforming the agriculture in the sector, for example. Pretty much what I believe it's not much because of managing resource. We are very tight in managing resources because Sarawak is blessed with the land, big land and energy, abundance of energy and resources. But I believe we should provide more access to, for example, opportunity to give the youthpreneurs exposure to open up their eyes on using and knowledge and skills. The so-called digital natives or youth that is using smartphone or using digital platform is a norm for them, taking advantage on this and use this for agriculture sector, which is a key business in our country. For example, one of the main contributor for our economy, other than like oil and gas and energy and other sector. Meaning, looking at success story or some impact going to the agriculture sector, yes, digital economy and the youth have that opportunity and capability. However, more participation, more eagerness, and more proactiveness required. Meaning coming and participating in engaging with people like Muslim and Syukran and StartupBorneo, meaning matching them with more corporate partners and agencies that can provide them some opportunity and platform. For example, we can also provide some kind of crowdfunding opportunity. So it's pretty much talking about agriculture sector. It's not the resources. It's not much on the resources in the moment, but to get the youth to participate. In a way, it will transform our agriculture sector. Indirectly, meaning yes, agriculture sector need a transformation, which we most of us really understand this. But this also need to come from, for example, the youth to come in.
All right, okay. Thank you very much, Encik Qaiyum. I think I take your point that it is a very interesting digital transformation, especially among youth in Sarawak. And maybe later in the roundtable discussion, we would maybe zoom into more of how one or youthpreneurs who want to have this in the industry, how they can cultivate and such. Maybe that one will be answered in the roundtable session later. And also, I agree with you on the point that we actually in Sarawak, we have a lot of resources, so we do not need to worry about resources. We even have our own digital platform. We have our own Sarawak Digital Mall as per launch quite recently. It will be on Shopee, and then we have a lot of local products actually, which are actually being marketed in this Sarawak Digital Mall. And I'm pretty sure most of us know in the digital transformation. That is a very interesting topic which we will bring to the roundtable discussion later. Now, I think it's time for the next sharing session. Okay, is a sharing by Encik Syukran Jamil from our education institution here from Uni KL. Welcome, Encik Syukran.
Thank you, Cheryl. No,
Yeah.
from IKM, Institut Kemahiran Mara.
Okay, from IKM, sorry. From IKM. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, so Encik Syukran, maybe you can share us a little bit on basically on what we have Encik Qaiyum and also Encik Muslim has shared today on the how do we cultivate, there's a question actually, on how do we cultivate this attitude among youngpreneurs, you know, being coming from a skills institute and a very strong background of enhancing one's skills, how do we actually cultivate entrepreneurship? Maybe you can share some of your bitter or sweet experiences trying to do this, you know, especially in the now generation.
Right, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for inviting me for this session. Thank you, Encik Qaiyum and Encik Muslim also, and Server Digital. Right, today introduce myself first. Okay, I'm Muhammad Syukran bin Jamil. I'm from Institut Kemahiran Mara, Kuala Lumpur. Since I'm being a lecturer for I think around 13 years in entrepreneurship education, and plus my study will be changed to digital. I think past 5 or 6 years, started from 2015 until now. The first Malaysia will be changed in on MDEC institution. They changed from the Malaysian perspective from the local from the offline to the online. They start up the situation. Dia bermula dengan how they start this environment of the online business ni, bila all the kajian dibuat oleh semua aspek, dan we have to start from the institution. We start from the starting to groom the knowledge and skills first to the public lah, from the institution and knowledge to the public. That's why benda tu yang saya dilantik dan dihantar oleh saya punya agensi, iaitu Mara, kepada MDEC to MDEC around 5 years. I attached at MDEC for 5 years to learn and to to learn all about digitalization on the business. Jadi apa yang saya belajar di situ, di mana pengalaman yang saya cerita sikit apa pengalaman saya dalam bidang digital ni. Saya dihantar di MDEC pada tahun 2015 untuk belajar all about digitalization, especially on e-usahawan ataupun entrepreneurship education on online business. Jadi benda tu make me, I think saya susah sebab for my generation saya macam tak nak ambil lah benda tu kan. Tetapi I have to. Jadi saya belajar benda tu, then I keep searching and keep learning all these things. Jadi di situlah saya belajar bahawa perubahan mesti dibuat. Masa yang saya masuk tu Malaysia start promoting about IR 4.0. But suddenly I think Malaysia not enough to go to IR 4.0. IR 4.0 sebab I think Malaysia masih lagi pada level pada IR 3.0. Jadi pada masa tu saya melihat bahawa facilities dan juga education is very important to public, especially to public lah. Tapi before we go to the public, we must test on, I think we must do a pilot test first. Jadi kat mana kita nak cari pilot test? Jadi they come to our institution, TVS Mara, as a first orang panggil apa, pilot test, sebab because dia orang panggil dikatakan sebagai digital knowledge ini adalah skill. Dia clarify is digital knowledge is a skill. Dia bukan is a knowledge, is a skill. Skill mean you kena buat, is a practically. Kan? Jadi bila dia come to our TVET institution, dia bagi all about knowledge. I think all the institution in Mara, Polytechnic, sebab saya tengok kawan saya banyak komen daripada IKM Kuching, daripada Poly Muka, daripada IKM Bintulu and so on. Kan? Jadi I think they are same with me in education sector. Jadi kita dalam education sector ni, kita adalah orang yang saya diberi arahan oleh pihak MDEC dan juga beberapa kementerian untuk buat satu modul khas, mana modul ni adalah untuk memberi manfaat kepada community to learn dan to understand about digitalization. It's very tough on that day, very tough. Sebab kita nak bercerita, orang tak tahu. Dan they don't need social media, they don't need digitalization on that day. Tapi bila berlakunya pandemik COVID-19 ni, jadi Malaysia macam kena satu roket atau kejutan, they have to change. Dia mesti berubah. Jadi pada tahun 2015 saya dan juga tim buat modul ini untuk diguna pakai oleh pelajar-pelajar for education and to teach them how to be disciplined on that field, on digital punya field. Tetapi bila kita dah buat benda ni, suddenly kita punya student dah berjaya menjana pendapatan ribuan ringgit. Even though for dalam tahun 2015, pelajar kita dah berjaya menjana pendapatan RM92,000 dalam masa 6 bulan saja menggunakan platform digital. Jadi benda tu adalah kita punya case study to go more and to go far on digitalization. Sebab I bercakap di sini adalah dalam konteks you must have, I think, two things lah, attitude and knowledge. Mesti come together lah kan. Bila kita create benda tu, kita dah pilot test kepada kita punya student, dan student dah berjaya menjana pendapatan. Mula kita start di area Kuala Lumpur, now kita pergi ke seluruh Malaysia. Dia ada di Bintulu, dia ada di Mukah, dia ada di seolah satu Malaysia kita try, dan they keep generate income. Student keep generating income from that platform and for that knowledge ataupun skill digitalization. Dan kita keep improving lagi sehinggalah sekarang ini ada orang panggil apa, digitalpreneur and so on lah dalam bidang tu. Dan kita pada tahun 2017 kita dah ataupun 2018 kita dah keluar, kita nak test that module, that digitalization module kepada public. We go to public. Jadi first testing public is at KKTM PJ. I have to say that first 2018 we test the module to the public at the KKTM PJ. Around I think we have 10 batch. Each batch is around 20 person that learn, they come to our class and learn about digitalization, how to know about the simple thing is the Facebook, Instagram, digital. For that day, di situlah kita bermula pendigitalan di Malaysia. Di situlah kita mula bercakap mengenai community. bahawa benda ni bagus. Jadi bila kita bawa dan akhirnya dia orang keep dapat income dengan low cost in a high income. Jadi dia rasa macam is something new lah, is good for digitalization, but it's not enough more. We have to separate all the information, all the knowledge to all the Malaysia. Sebab tu kita dah dari bawah peringkat ni kita dah buat dari segi education ni, kita dah siap satu modul khas for education, especially for to develop your skill and talent in dan juga plus entrepreneurship lah. Tiga benda kita nak bawa community must know about digitalization. Sebab itulah bila berlakunya perubahan ataupun revolusi satu persatu ini sehingga 2021 ataupun 2020 is good, but because kita dah start 2015, Malaysia dah about this, what happened to the Malaysia about the pandemic COVID-19, at least they know. But the problem is when they happen to the public, when happen to the COVID-19, kita tengok peniaga-peniaga yang menjadi masalah adalah peniaga-peniaga yang masih lagi belum beralih kepada digitalization. Jadi belum lagi, tapi kini dia orang dah mula hadiri diri mereka dalam digitalization lah. Sebab itulah bila saya bercakap dengan beberapa institution, especially we are targeting, we are researching impact from each institution around the Malaysia, yang mana yang apa yang perlu ditambah baik lagi adalah nombor satu, pelajar dari segi education ni, I think my suggestion is we have to give them the knowledge first, the skill first. Itu yang kita asah pada level basic thing, skill dan knowledge. Sebab itu kita target 100% Malaysia, especially youngsters, they have to know about digitalization at least. Jadi bila kita dah buat benda ni, we have to make a plan ataupun satu rangka yang cukup komprehensif, di mana kita dah test, macam kawan saya tadi, kita dah test di beberapa IKM Kuching, IKM Bintulu, dan dia punya pelajar dapat jana pendapatan. I think dia jual produk-produk tempatan di Sarawak saja dah berjaya menjana pendapatan sebulan lebih kurang dalam belasan ribu ringgit. Kan? Jadi benda tu yang buat saya rasa education is very important to give to the community. Maksudnya we have to educate them about digitalization first. Macam kita buat hari ni is good for the community to understand, for the PKS to understand what is the digitalization is all about lah. Sebab orang bila kita nak masuk dalam digital ni, orang rasa macam susah. Yang dia rasa macam is very ada satu benda yang tak boleh nak lepas dengan benda tu lah. Right? Jadi itu yang buat kita kena ready on that thing lah. Jadi pengalaman saya, hello?
Ya,
dengar. Tak?
Ya, dengar.
Okay. Hello?
Ya.
Sorry. Dengar lah, sorry. Sebab because my computer is I think lagging. Alright.
Ya, tak apa.
Okay, jadi tambahan saya tambahan saya untuk benda ni. Dan bila kita berlaku pada tadi Cik Muslim ada bercakap mengenai IR 5.0, IR 4.0, itu adalah revolusi industri, di mana bila kita masuk kepada IR 5.0 is about the smart intelligent. Tetapi bila kita melihat satu proses ni, sebab saya memandang digitalization is a process. It's a process. Process mean we have start from ground until the higher level lah kan. Contohnya kita kena bagi knowledge, kita kena bagi information and so on lah. And then the most important thing kita tahu pada tahun 2020 gig economy. Sebab itu saya wujudkan platform saya sendiri. Hello? Sorry. Hello?
Ya, dengar.
Hello? Okay.
Clear.
Dengar,
Okay.
Sorry.
Ya, tak apa. Ya, cakap pasal digital ni.
Sebab tu, okay. Sebab itu bila kita bercakap, hello?
Okay.
Sorry. Alright, jadi bila kita bercakap mengenai digitalization, satu lagi benda yang kita kena lihat adalah gig economy. What we have to respond is about gig economy. Now kita tahu 2020 and 2021 is rise of gig economy. A lot of platform there yang kita boleh gain income, dan at least kita tahu. Sebelum ni zaman saya, from my age, saya tak ada peluang tu. I don't have that opportunity. Saya kalau nak kerja, saya kena kerja kedai makan. I have to go to the kedai makan and cuci all the pinggan there and get income. Now, there are a lot of platform. The most important thing that you must have is a skill. Apa skill yang you ada? Kalau you skill boleh bercakap, you kena buat dalam cari platform boleh cakap. Kalau you skill pandai buat poster, you kena pergi buat poster. All these things can gain a lot of money and can gain money and generate income for the youngsters, and I think not for the youngsters also. I think for the all Malaysia lah yang nak dapatkan jalan pendapatan melalui platform-platform yang disediakan di dalam Malaysia ni. I think a lot of initiative that Malaysia do. Yang kita quite popular is about Grab, Food Panda and so on lah kan. Jadi kalau e-commerce ni kita bercerita mengenai Shopee, Lazada, is a marketplace. It's called a marketplace. Now my friends told they have a Sarawak Digital Mall. I think Sarawak Mall. Jadi benda tu yang buat kita akan orang panggil apa, kita akan more.
Siaran tergendala sebentar.
Ya. Encik Syukran. Ya, okey kan saya, Encik Syukran. Dengar tak?
Dengar, sorry. Tadi kita putus ke?
Kita tergendala seketika.
Okay. This is all digitalization. Okay, normal.
Encik Syukran, we actually have a question from one of our participants here for today. Encik Syukran, this is from Amar Yasir. Encik Syukran, I am from IKM Lumut. How do we convince our students this pandemic time to fall into entrepreneurship career? Okay,
I think the pandemic is not affected to all the students, also a lot affected to all the Malaysian, I think. Okay, untuk how to encourage students to involve in entrepreneurship since the pandemic COVID-19 is they must we are educator, we have to educate them. First, we have to educate them to tell them that this pandemic COVID-19 is not a problem, it's the opportunity. Tell them this is opportunity. Right? Tell them, okay, Cik Amar, tell them this is opportunity. Bila you tell them this opportunity, the student will ask you, what is the opportunity? Therefore, you must explain about the gig platform, e-commerce platform and so on. Sebab because if the student asks you, mean they are interested to know more. It's good. Yeah. It's good. And jadi saya cadangan is
I think I believe juga yang sometimes in the time of crisis tu kita boleh bagi kepada dua outcomes, which is one, a crisis which will lead to another crisis, and crisis tu dia akan lead to opportunities. So I think I take a point yang education is very, very important, and then at the same time when we tell students or people, being in the background of education myself, kalau kita cakap dengan dia ada opportunity and there's something good, definitely they akan lebih motivated. Correct. So in terms of cultivating culture based on your first-hand experience, other than the ways, maybe instead of for use, sekarang kita tanya on behalf of educators, how do we cultivate that in this culture, be it whether during the pandemic times, maybe in the long run, because when you talk about gig economy, it's safe to assume that gig economy is here for the long run. Definitely, dia akan jadi a certain type of economy yang dalam jangka masa panjang. So in this landscape, macam mana as an educator kita nak cultivate benda ni? Sebab gig economy is based on your skills and effort. Could it be more practical based, or maybe you can share your take?
All right, thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, thank you, Joshua.
Is it my line is okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
for the how to cultivate this situation for the student, I think for my perspective lah, it's not about the student also, it's about the whole community lah. Jadi macam mana kita nak cultivate is first is you must discipline and you must understand, because people kalau dia tak tahu, they don't know about things dan dia keep buat perspektif yang negatif. Kan, another one, two things lah. Satu, kita nak ubah the culture is we have to educate them. Second things is kita kena bagi dia satu indicator bahawa this is kita kena tunjuk gig economy ni, this is all the opportunity that you get. We have to explain about gig economy. I think nama dalam digital ni, the name on digital terms, kebanyakan nama yang public ataupun community ni takut nak dengar. Dan dia also don't know. I think kalau kita bercakap pasal gig pun, berapa orang je saya tahu gig, what is a gig kan? Kalau kita bercakap this is food panda, this is you deliver, you dapat duit and so on. Itu yang maksudnya delivery. Macam mana kita nak cultivate tu, nombor satu, initiative lah. We have to create all the initiative. I think initiative, not a big initiative, but a niche initiative. Macam saya, because we have to do pilot, because saya punya style, in education sector, we have to do pilot test. Then we get a result, then you can go more and more with a research and development of the program and initiative for the public and for the student also. Because digitalization is keep changing. The algorithm, I think the algorithm of digitalization, every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they will be different. Jadi kita sebagai enabler, orang yang memegang amanah untuk menjaga laluan digitalization ni, we have to deliver to the niche people lah, to the niche group yang senang untuk difahami. Sebab bila saya bercakap, contoh saya bercakap di Sabah, saya akan bercakap dalam niche culture Sabah. Bila saya cakap Sarawak, bila saya pergi ke Kedah, saya kena tengok what is the culture of Kedah, what is the culture of Penang also. Jadi benda-benda tu I have to analyze all these thing lah kan. Sebab dia nak cultivate tu dia take time lah. But from education,
Lost again.
Tak apa, we take a commercial break sekejap.
Okay.
Okay, hello, Encik Syukran. Okay, tak apa. We take a commercial break for, okay, and we're back. Welcome back, Encik Syukran. Everything good there?
okay.
Yeah, we were actually discussing regarding gig economy, and I think it's a gig economy is a very interesting topic because it has becoming rampant. Walaupun dulu maybe it may seem like something yang a lot of people would look frown upon, but now it's something looked upon. Maybe there's a question, maybe could this be a market niche in the growing landscape? And also sebab ni so-called gig economy comes from gigs. Kalau gig tu dekat outside they call it gigs, is like jobs, but it is something whereby there are limited opportunities to determine the scope of their business. So could this limited opportunity here to determine the scope of the business, there are distinctive difference tak dengan entrepreneurs itself? How do we make it maybe in the changing market niche landscape here?
Okay, thank you Cheryl.
Okay, thank you.
Right, okay, for the gig economy, you must understand, the gig economy has two, satu worker, satu gig developer. But for I change that environment ataupun ecosystem, I make this worker to become an entrepreneur. How is become, contoh lah, sekarang banyak inisiatif yang dijalankan oleh pihak kerajaan. Baru ni saya berbincang dengan pihak Perkeso, KWSP, dengan MDEC. They have a lot of incentive to all the gig workers. Contoh, gig workers ni dia adalah freelance and independence. Freelance and independence. But the most important thing is I change what is called freelance. Mean when you work as a gig workers, you keep learning and you keep collect money to give. Contoh student saya, dia nak buka kedai burger. It's simple thing, nak buka kedai burger. Dia cakap kat saya, "Cik, saya tak ada modal. I have no capital to open the burger stall." Jadi I cakap, "You ada motor tak?" Ada. Okay, you daftar dalam Food Panda, you make money from Food Panda, you learn. Selama setahun, dia berjaya mengumpul sebanyak 6,000 ringgit untuk open their own store without any loan. Another things that they learn from the gig platform is they know how to deliver and the system. This how become they change the gig economy to become an entrepreneur. That's how lah. Macam saya punya platform memang saya economicus. Ada juga developing for entrepreneurs. Tetapi bagi pandangan saya, for my opinion is, kalau you nak more further on your life lah, kalau you nak increasing ataupun nak keluar daripada kepompong kesusahan dalam hidup you start from gig workers, that you gain a lot of capital ataupun money, you simpan and you become entrepreneur lah. Nanti lepas tu you become entrepreneur. Itu yang saya punya selalunya saya bercakap kepada pelajar dan juga community bahawa this is how gig economy lah, secara unofficial ataupun secara base, this is how we to change the gig economy to the entrepreneur lah.
Interesting.
Cheryl.
Thank you, Encik Syukran. I take your point yang it's agreeable yang kita ni in these trying times pun kita buat satu community. So the community is also very important juga lah in terms of awareness, education, and such also lah. So sangat informative, and also I think it's very useful for young entrepreneurs out there yang kita actually kena belajar and take from the system, and also we can create our own jobs in the long run. So hopefully this thing will be a very long-term process. Another thing Encik Syukran, ni ada orang kirim salam ni, ada komen, Mr. Syukran, my idol. Nak kirim salam balik kan?
Thank you. Siapa ni?
Okay. Alright. Thank you very much, Encik Syukran. Now, I think now is time for the Q&A session. Thank you very much for the respective sharing sessions on the respective topics from three of the experts that we have here today. So I think now is a time for the Q&A and also the round table session. So if there are any emerging questions yang we have from our live, maybe we will present it again. So now we come to the roundtable session. We will turn back the roundtable session back to Encik Moslem pula. Yang tadi just now, I think further earlier, there's an interesting point on IR 5.0 that you recap. And also maybe you can, now the issue that we have right now is that although there are many resources, revenues, things are being given, culture, it has becoming a very concerning issue in this growing landscape. So maybe you can mention, or maybe you can share with us some of your success stories also, yang how previously this thing was actually introduced and then now it has become an opportunity. So how do we cultivate this attitude of having both the balance of knowledge and also the attitude in this landscape, in this current situation?
Thank you, Cheryl. There's a very interesting quote saying that we don't lack resources, we lack resourcefulness. Okay? So it's just like you said, okay, it's Sarawak, we have tons of resources. Okay, it's a matter of how do we capitalize on these resources, right? And one of the ways is, of course, knowledge, right? Knowledge. Let me share with you. I think this is very interesting. I keep on telling this in my class or seminar, workshop yang I bola. when I was in the States, way back in 1993, 94, okay. Sekejap. Right. Right. Now, when I was back in US, okay, back in 1994, 95, okay, I was sponsored by Mara lah, right? And then, now this is interesting. Because the government wanted me to learn about industrial revolution lah, negara perindustrian, right? But there's one in one of the courses that I took up in the States is management information system, right? In 1994. So while waiting for the lecturer to come in, right, I read a very interesting paragraph whereby in US back then, they said that we are moving towards information era, right? Back then, okay, whereby Malaysia, we are still talking about industrial era. So that means lama udah, right? So what's the point? The point here is this: if you control the knowledge or information, you control the world, right? For Muslim, for example, on Islam, Iqra is the first word, right? The first phrase dalam Al-Quran. Read. If you belajar di UK, bukan di Ulu Kapit, but United Kingdom, right? Iqra means read. If they ask you what do you read, it means you to belajar sini, right? So the read here means belajar. It's in depth. So if we manage to control our, inshallah, master our information or knowledge, then we can control the world. So back to your question, okay, how do we capitalize on the resources that we have? We have to make sure that we control the knowledge. Ilmu yang paling penting, right? So that is why now, since a lot of us are at home, why don't we use this time to improve our knowledge? However, amat menyedihkan. Okay, put sentiment aside. Kita malas cari ilmu. That's the problem with us, right? If you are in training industry, for example, if there is a kursus yang dibuat, okay, the first question yang akan ditanya adalah ada bayar, right? So that's the first question. The second question is, okay, ada makan, right? And then ada sijil, right? If the first one ada bayar, no, free, tick on. Second question, ada makan, yes, ada makan, tick on. Okay, number three, ada sijil. Yes, ada sijil, tick on. Okay, if one of them, contohnya ada bayar, oh susah. So this is what, if you look at advanced country, for example, kursus-kursus yang dibuat oleh pakar-pakar industri. I give you a very good example, Brandon Bouchard, even Anthony Robin, right? Ataupun di marketing guru, Joe Abraham, right? Satu ticket will cost you around 5,000 USD. 5,000 USD. And usually kursus-kursus setidaknya full. They're full. Why? Because they hunger for knowledge. So hopefully our society, our community, please banyaklah membaca, banyak pergi kursus. Okay, regardless of bayar ke free, who cares? Okay, the more you sacrifice, then inshallah you can capitalize on things. Right? It's very simple. Okay. Just to give you one example, hopefully, okay, audience ada anggap untuk sebagai something yang show off, right? Okay. Blue ocean strategy is a very interesting subject, right? And kita even ada national blue ocean strategy, whatever lah di Malaysia ada. Am I right? Right. Kita sibuk dengan blue ocean strategy. So the same thing with me. I'm interested to know about what is blue ocean strategy. So I start to Google what is blue ocean strategy, right? And then I managed to find a lecture on blue ocean strategy for 1 hour dekat YouTube. And I just sit down. Dengar, what is blue ocean strategy? Even the national level pun ada blue ocean strategy. I try to learn what is blue ocean strategy. Padahal it's very simple lah. You know, in 5 minutes you can understand what is blue ocean strategy. Of course, if you like to go deeper, agak technical. Tapi the gist of blue ocean strategy is very simple, right? So manage to to gain the knowledge of blue ocean strategy. And there's one telco company wanting us to conduct a training program for them, for their managers, engineers, GM, and so forth. So I take up the project, and then one of the session I talk about blue ocean strategy. How do you capitalize blue ocean strategy to come up with strategy, right? You see what? After the session, the GM nanya nak, how do you know this thing? This is very interesting topic, blue ocean strategy. How do we capitalize on this thing? Sebab because of that, we managed to get one project amounting, consulting project lah, 36,000. Where did I manage to get the knowledge? Just from YouTube lah, right? So this is the point. Ilmu semua ada, right? So what we lack right now, ada dua lah, okay, ada dua. I just want to add on something for Sarawak, di Sarawak particularly. Improve our knowledge, insyaAllah. Government banyak mula khusus-khusus. Even IKM pun banyak mula khusus. Right, IKM. Sebab Startup Borneo pun I'm sure banyak buat khusus. Please attend khusus-khusus ya. Okay, regardless of bagus, kasih bagus, try to find something that can benefit you. That's number one. Okay. Number two, I'd like to take this opportunity, okay, terutama sekali for the policy makers di Sarawak yang ada dengar tu. Okay, please make sure that infrastruktur internet kita ready. Okay, I'm not talking about connectivity. Connectivity kita memang tu jual lah sebenarnya, right? Tercorot nombor 2 selepas Kelantan, according to research last year. Alright, in terms of 4G, kita only 79.6%, average 86%. That is national level. But what I'm talking about is infra. What do I mean by infra? Contohnya, if you order barang di Shopee, okay, hari tu bilanya sampai di Sarawak. Lemah semangat you order kena tu kadang-kadang. Right? So this is something yang we have to think. You nak encourage orang go for digital economy, go for e-commerce, but the infra is not ready. Right? So if you look at again, okay, we are not trying to say we are kita si bagus. No. Make sure that everything is ready. If you have the capacity, I think Qaiyum pun selalu cakap, ada syarikat-syarikat yang want to contribute to the community, help this company betul-betul, support them betul-betul because they want to contribute to the community, right? So if there are companies willing to take up logistic, for example, please support that tu, right? If because Sarawak, Malaysia kecil, 30 lebih juta aja rakyat kita tu. But if you look at US, there are 4 time zone in US. If you place the order hari tu, maybe petang tu sampai Amazon Prime, am I right? 4 time zone, they manage to do that. Kita 1 time zone aja. Jadi nak mula internet business pun dah rasa malas nak mula order itu maybe bulan depan je sampai, right? So this is something we need to tackle, isu-isu yang asas, then we can encourage others to participate lah.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting sharing from your side, Encik Muslim, on information controlling, and I think I myself personally do pun, I think most of us here pun endure the times yang kita nak order, kalau example kita now coming to 7/7, so we have to wait for our shipping, and we are not even in the 4 time zones actually. So I think your point is a very interesting and very relatable personal experience for myself, where a lot of shipping are delayed, and it's very important actually, it's very vital for we have the resources, but however the infrastructure tu kita kena ready dulu. We have to be prepared before before we want it to be a success story. So I think it's very important to assist these enterprises. And actually there is ada satu soalan. There's one question from our FB Live. This is from SME Corp Sarawak. This is for you. The question here goes like this. Bagaimana SME boleh membantu dalam penyampaian teknologi terbaru kepada usahawan IKS seperti teknologi di negara maju, contoh Korea Selatan dan Jepun? And also dia also mention juga kita agak ketinggalan, like what you mentioned in the situation, agak ketinggalan beberapa tahun ke belakang compared to those countries yang dah maju in terms of business. So maybe you can answer this question for our viewers for today.
So in terms of, okay, number one, if you look at connectivity, that's number one, or internet penetration, that's number one, right? Don't talk about high speed, broad macam unify or whatever, right? Even 4G, we are lacking behind, okay? Maybe some of the reason given to us is that because of our Sarawak besar, right? Kadang-kadang nak pergi jauh-jauh pun agak susah, right? Tapi if that is the reason, why don't focus on yang dekat-dekat dulu? Kadang-kadang pergi Lunduk pun saya ada signal. Right? Jauh ni ke Lunduk ya. Okay. Take note on this. That's number one lah. In terms of how do we spread this technology, right? Of course, if you go to Korea contohnya, speednya laju, laju, right? Sebelum you nekan huruf A dah keluar A dah, buatan lajunya. Right? But the point here is this. Again, maybe I can take up on apa yang dimention oleh saudara Syukran. When someone asks, how do we motivate students to participate, right? Now, for that level, yes, we should motivate because of their thinking ability belum ke tahap orang yang sudah dewasa. But for entrepreneurs, there is no such thing as motivation, right? Because if you nang teruk bendera putih jadi ingkar di rumah, you know you have to do something, right? So this maybe my approach is a bit different, right? Because I believe that if you want to be helped, you have to tell us that you need help. Bukannya come join. Ya, market political mileage saja ya, right? Ramai orang datang 4YB, okay fine. But if you want to see result, make sure you screen them. You want to join SME pun program kah? You have to qualify, right? Then we can ask you to come in. If not, it's a number game ya. Sebab kata hadis ujung di akhir zaman tu kita macam buih di lautan melobor aja, ni kualitinya. None, because of the initial stage sudah salah. Okay. But again, macam yang pada tadi, I don't agree much on kita ke belakang. No, kita sit ke belakang. Okay. Because if you dengar apa yang berlaku di US, you dah tahu dah apa yang berlaku di US now. Because it's instant. But in terms of technology infra, yes. Okay, no doubt. Si jauh ni, okay. InsyaAllah si jauh ni. The question now is macam tu aja saya nanggau, okay. Pihak-pihak tertentu mestilah main peranannya. That's number one. The government has to play their role. Entrepreneur has to play their role. Kadang-kadang satu part dah play their role, but another part tidak play their role, right? For example, government give you the grant, okay? You ambil grant ya, ataupun you ambil contohnya mesin jahit ya, you jual. Macam ni, berdagang mudah mesin jahit dijual, right? And then for usahawan contohnya. Okay, this is facts because I'm talking about facts. Okay. And then for usahawan, for government, if you not beri support contohnya, if you not beri grant, okay, dia gembor-gembor, we have 11 billion grant, government nak saati you, participant nak saati you, usahawan saati. But apabila dia jumpa, saya dah sebenarnya grant tu, okay, mention aja bah, right? This thing happen. Okay. So that is what I nanggam, okay. Dua mesti main peranan. So if you dah ditolong, please pola betul-betul. If you nak nolong, please pola betul-betul. Right? And in term of infra, in term of capacity, we can. Saya ada masalah, insyaAllah. We can deliver our state vision to become digital economy ataupun powerhouse ataupun negeri maju by 2030. We have another 9 years to go. Kita Sarawak nak jadi negeri maju and digital hub. Okay. So if we do this thing, insyaAllah we can do it. Ataupun setidak-tidaknya lah, just talk about basic. Si perlu kelakar jauh-jauh gila. Talk about basic je lah. Talk about yang paling penting tu, internet connectivity kita, that's number one. Okay. Number two, please talk about logistic. Make sure logistik kita really kau-kau lah. Pola lah sikit, right? Courier service Sarawak pun saya ada masalah. Okay. Mesti kalau kita ada Qaiyum, kita ada mula Qaiyum. Okay. Courier service untuk Sarawak. Kadang-kadang, just to give you one example. When you nak order barang di IKEA, right, IKEA, harga delivery lebih mahal daripada harga barang. Right? Si semangat you. When you Google one day delivery, semangat, tapi di Semenanjung aja. What happened to kita? Right. So benda-benda gitu, hopefully if we can tackle this issue, then kita can orang, yes, everything dah ready. Let's join in. So this is what we need to do lah, insyaAllah. And last, I want to make a point here. When Amazon, before Amazon ada fleet, ada 70 lah, kita tu 80, 50, 70 fleet. balon besar-besar di Amazon tu untuk hantar barang aja. Before they have this fleet, dan yang menggunakan courier service luar. Right. But in 2003, if I'm not mistaken, 2013, ya, something happened whereby order terlalu banyak. Apabila order terlalu banyak, you know what? Amazon, apa yang dibuat oleh Amazon? Contoh je pun nyamadah dengan courier service. Let us handle aja. If kita orang si dapat handle nak susah-susah tu, let we handle. So apa dipola oleh Amazon, dannya beli fleet, dannya mula runway dan sebagainya. That is what we should do right now. And kena tu for courier company kena tu, if the order makin banyak, maksudnya that is a good headache for you. Okay, don't use that as an excuse. Si dapat hantar kami bergagu gila. You cannot do that. Okay, even my personal experience beberapa kali ada courier service telefon, bang kita sini bang di rumah, kita sini, kami tu di situ bang, si jauh tempat ada, oh saya dapat pergi siapa bang, kena si dapat, oh kami tu sebenarnya part time aja bang, ya Allah, what kind of service is this? So this is facts, real issue that we are facing right now for Sarawakian yang mau mula e-commerce, yeah, that's it lah. From me, banyak bukan nak ngumpat doang lah, benda yang betul.
Yeah, thank you very much, Encik Muslim, for your eye-opening, informative comment on, yes, mungkin kita mau ngumpat lah, but we are talking about the facts lah actually. And
Exactly.
I think, yeah, exactly. So we need to know the truth and we need to know the facts of this current situation actually. On actually certain policies maybe needs to be looked up again. That's the importance of the roundtable session. The policies have to be reflected again, maybe have to be screened through. Evidently, things have to be prepared if we want to go forward. Not only other than individually, community-wise, and also the mindset. I think generally we can see here that knowledge, attitude is very vital and important for most of us actually, and resourcefulness too as well from all parties and all sides and all stakeholders alike. So actually, thank you very much, Encik Muslim. We have come to actually the wrapping up session. So maybe we can have 1, 2 or last phrases before we come to the wrapping up session by our Director of SME Corp Malaysia Sarawak branch, from both Encik Qaiyum and Encik Syukran and even Encik Muslim, maybe 1 or 2 phrases that we can use to motivate our audience today and to wrap up the entire roundtable discussion for today.
Maybe I give my just some of my very brief review, reflect and suggestion on for digital economy and entrepreneurs for them to look into the opportunity for business and marketing in this round of era. Okay, so pretty much there's a lot of initiatives and opportunity as well for entrepreneurs, especially the youth, because digital this round of industrial revolution is pretty much opportunity for especially youth to come in. So meaning we have seen quite a number of success stories, like for example Timoga and SME Corp as well have also initiated quite a number of initiatives like tubers and for youth entrepreneurs and for digital economy to be successful, a lot of parties have to come in and to in a way to build this digital business and digital ecosystem. Meaning in terms of involvement and participation, it is not only just like what mentioned by Saudara Muslim. It has to come also from the youth, the community, and plus at the same time understanding the needs for this initiative to be successful. So meaning in terms of policies, what kind of and in terms of initiatives, in terms of providing the infrastructure facilities, what the key ingredient so that we can provide the ecosystem and get them to come on board and to be successful. yes, a success story is there, but however, a lot more parties have to come together. And thank you very much because SME Corp is playing the key role, and this session is pretty much is by SME Corp and because of our national SME week. So, like for example, just another comment, another up corporate organization like Cyber Dynamic industries also playing roles like like what is recently being announced, internet connectivity provided by through the satellite is going to be provided by like more company, especially a company like Super Dynamic. So organization and agencies and service providers and solution technology provider is also playing a role. So yeah, I would suggest corporates, agencies, government, and industry and community to come into a common ground, and meaning to come together and work on this next industrial revolution and get our country ready and our fellow Sarawakian ready for the next IR 5.0 as mentioned by Tuan Moslem and Syukran. Yeah, so pretty much that's my point, and yeah, perhaps there is a call for coming up program like for example Startup Borneo. We're going to have Borneo Startup Accelerator 2021. So this is another opportunity. So I would encourage everyone to follow and watch out for our announcement for Borneo Startup Accelerator 2021. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Encik Qaiyum. Thank you very much on preparing us to be ever ready in this landscape. And thank you also for sharing our upcoming teaser over the Borneo Acceleration Program. We hope to see more of that coming. And now maybe any last wrap-ups from Encik Syukran before we move on to the wrap-up session.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. All right. For my wrap-up today, I think for last word for this session, I think digitalization is a main topic that we have to take it is a serious thing, because digitalization dia keep changing. Kalau kita lambat, kita tak tempat nak kejar dia. And if we waiting for digitalization, then digitalization cannot wait for us lah. Dan sebab tu bila kita bercakap mengenai digitalization I think in scope of Malaysia, sebenarnya kita have to explore lah. And for community out there, you have to explore. A lot of initiative from government, from entrepreneurs, and also a lot of NGO and so on. You have to explore and you have to take it as advantage. I think the first thing is you must open your mind lah. Open your mind. Take it as a challenge to yourself to change, especially for changes to change yourself. I think kalau you bukan you pun your generation. Sebab I tengok semalam dalam social media, and bila when happen to PDPR, dia punya family don't know how to open the Google Meet also. This is problem for the community also. They not talking about the whole e-commerce, but this call about the technology merge with entrepreneurship. Jadi nak guna teknologi pun tak tahu. Jadi macam mana dia nak guna all these tools and application on social media. Jadi benda tu kena tengok betul-betul. Sebab benda tu saya diminta untuk melihat bahawa sebelum ni kita berbicara mengenai a lot of e-commerce, a lot of online business. Tetapi itu is a knowledge and skills that we produce. But the most important things macam Encik Moslem and Qaiyum said is facilities. How to use that facilities, how to open these facilities, because simple thing. Kalau you nak buat kerja sekolah, anak you di kampung, anak you tanya, ayah macam mana nak buka? Sebab all they have refer to dia parent tau. Tapi dia parent pun tak tahu, dia kata okay. Kan? Jadi benda tu kita kena tengok di konsep ekosistem yang menyeluruh. If kita jangan refer to one entity or one age sahaja, jadi kita kena tengok range dia yang cukup besar lah. Jadi itu sahaja. Cuma last word for me is sebab kita sekarang kebanyakan government pun dah declare benda digital marketing is a skill. Jadi bila skill ni you have to learn and you must to practice. Jadi then you have a skill, you practice, then you can get money lah. Itu je lah, the simple thing lah. Kan, kalau you nak kekal susah, kalau you susah, you kena fikir kalau you susah, you kena fikir kalau you nak stay dalam susah tu ke you nak keluar dari susah tu. Jadi you fikirlah sendiri. Okay,
thank you very much, Encik Syukran. This is a very interesting approach also. We have to be resilient and then we have to push ourselves forward. I think that is a very important point too. I think each of the well done to all the all three of the experts here today. I think they have managed to share such a valuable information today. We have come from information exchange, being to power, to even knowing about Industry 5.0 a little bit more in more detail, and then youth and how our own local youthpreneurs have managed to succeeded through certain things. And also to top it off, we actually have a lot of initiatives and a lot of resources coming from acceleration programs, awareness, and this is how digitalization itself in terms of business and marketing can come and create a community. And also we have dived into gig economy, and a lot of inspirational stories today. So to top it off, actually, we have come to the end of the session of the webinar today. I would like to also first and foremost thank all the participants and also the experts to be willing to share. Now we pass on to the wrapping up session by Encik Faiz Ramzi Sutaji, the Director of smecorpmalaysia Sarawak branch, for his last session for today. Silakan, Encik Faiz.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera to all the participants, Rafiza, our panelists. Thank you very much for joining the session today. From SMEcorp Malaysia, we are indeed very much grateful, and we would like to thank everyone, the participant and also all the panelists for giving the cooperation for our seminar this morning. So I am very grateful. But basically, this is not the end. As you all know, this is actually one of the activity under the SME Weeks for Sarawak State 2020-21. So we have a number of activity as well. Don't forget, basically, I would like to invite all the participants of this seminar to also visit our e-Kemahiran, utilizing our My Assist platform, because right now, SMEcorp Malaysia is introducing one-stop platform, basically to provide business advisory, to provide business matching, and also opportunity for the SMEs to exhibit their product. So don't forget to go to our My Assist platform at www.myassist-msme.gov.my. And from there, you can go to our e-Kemahiran, visit all the 500 booths from all over Malaysia, and you can also purchase their product online. And also for the seminar today, I think the topic is very interesting. The topic is, I think, from the question that I can see online, I can see the engagement from the participant and also to the panelists. So I think, of course, on my personal point of view, I think technology is very, very driven. We have to be very tech-driven for us to move forward. But again, I would like to encourage, the participant not only to wait for the facilities to be basically done before we want to master the technology. We ourselves have to be prepared. So whenever the environment or the facility is there, then we can basically utilize effectively. So I think I'm actually in the middle of something as well. So I would like to thank everybody. I would like to thank the participant. I would like to thank the panelists. The panelists is very good. We have the participation from the youth, the academician, and also from the industry expert. So again, it is a very fruitful discussion. I thank you again to all the panelists. And to all the participants, please don't forget, this is not the only activity for the SME week. Please visit our myassist-msme.gov.my, and from there you can also benefit from other offering that we are offering from SME Corp Malaysia. I think that's all, Rafiza. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Encik Faiz, for the wrapping up session. So for audiences out there, do not forget to come and wait for more. There are more exciting things to come actually after this fruitful discussion. If there are any other questions, further ado, also hit it up and engage anytime. Technology advancement is not a barrier for us. So I guess we have come to the end of the session. Thank you very much, everyone who have participated today. And also before we end, I would just like to mention we have to be thankful for the crisis, because we can turn it into an opportunity or another crisis. And coming from all the panelists today, our industry experts, be it from youth, from industry, from facilitators, we come here to know that one lesson is that the resilience comes from our own. And for those businesses who are still trying hard and during these trying times, those waving the white flag and out, do not be afraid, and also please stay resilient, because resourcefulness is always there. It is what we make out of the resources. So thank you very much for everyone for knowing, for giving us the certainties to the uncertainties which are going to come. And with that, I am Cheryl Toh, your moderator for today. And with that, I would like to bid goodbye and maybe have some last wave from the panelists from today.